What up, you slick motherfuckers, you? Oh, I just finished my exam for the end of the term. I really hope I didn't fuck this up. Fucking really working hard, studying and doing work on projects, essays, stuff like that. But I wanted to, because I've touched upon this many times, sort of on a surface level, but I've never really gotten into in depth what I really experienced. But yeah, without further ado, this is a story about the weirdest, most lifelike hallucinations that I've had as a result of taking, a hallucinogen. This time I had taken a 200 microgram hit of LSD, and these were confirmed to be 200. And trust me, I know 200 when I do it, and this is definitely 200. Like, when I closed my eyes, I remember like seeing the human body kind of like Grey's Anatomy style, and I went into a vein and became a blood vessel and went through the human body. Like, it was fucking wild, dude. But I was taking a lot of edibles at the time, and so I decided to wait a little under 20 hours before I took the edible. And I found, since with that acid, you have to give yourself 24 hours before it gets out of your system. Like, merely just, smoking will bring it back. But, I remember I was watching, I believe, like Red Letter Media or something, because I was planning on just going to bed, falling asleep. And first hour was like, okay, I'm pretty stoned. Because these edibles, with the distillate, they'd kick in about 5 to 30 minutes, is when you'd start to feel them anyways, and then it'd be a gradual incline over about 20 minutes until you're like, pretty much at the peak, and then you just peak for the rest of the edible. But first hour felt fine, which is weird. The first hour of, the psychoactivity. But then, when I turned off the light, shit got fucking weird, man. Like, I remember just, like, I was having these crazy closed-eye visuals, like, very DMT-like, but, more, like, mechanical. Like, I saw these, like, big, what could I compare them to? I don't know, like, imagine a Tesla coil, if the sphere on the top had like a big manically grinning face on it, and that thing was bouncing up and down off of the coil, or off of the conduit, to the point where it was smashing it so hard that it was breaking it to pieces. Like, these things were just like joyously self-destructing themselves, just boing, 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 boing. And I was like, oh, whoa, okay. And so I opened my eyes, and holy fuck, all of a sudden there's this train that is see-through, like, it's transparent, but it's very 3D. And it's like so detailed. I could see like gaskets, and I could see like just all these facets that were like, I went up and I was like examining them, and unlike psychedelics where the hallucinations constantly change, they were consistent. The only difference was if I looked at them, they'd grow towards me. And I also noticed that there was these giant bugs, they weren't like, I was like on a Datura trip or a Benadryl trip, in psychosis, seeing bugs that aren't there. No, what I was seeing was like very giant psychedelic bugs. Like, it's clear to me they were hallucinations, but they were fucking so real. And like, again, consistency in the hallucinations, like, they were like blue or green, and they're like giant fireflies, like the size of basketballs, just zipping around my room. And like, I remember seeing this like spider looking thing, and it was huge, and it was on my wall, and I looked at it, and as soon as I looked at it, it fucking just like hovered into the air, and it evidently had these wings on it and went right at my face. And I've never had this happen before because of my like severe insomnia, I haven't had like a legit nap in fucking years. I'm not even joking. But my brain just went, yeah, no, this is way too much, and like I just fell asleep immediately. It's like my brain just hit the panic switch, like fucking, the safety parachute's just fucking, okay, yeah, we fucked up here, let's terminate this one. And yeah, it was just so bizarre. And that's why I really caution people from mixing like edibles with psychedelics or ketamine, because ketamine I find is similarly intensified by pot. I mean, I like that. I've had some of my best trips with like low dose edibles, like 20 milligrams or whatever, with like a K-hole size dose of ketamine. But I wouldn't suggest you do this even at low doses, because I have blacked out by doing that and woken up like 3 hours later, like what the fuck. But I remember, and this was before I did good 2CB and didn't really know what it was like, I did like multiple different types of MDA, because for some reason a friend of mine had like these 3 different types of MDA. He had M3, M4, and 7. I can't remember all, or like the correct order. I believe M3 is like the trippy type. M4 is a combination between M3 and M7. And I think M7 was the euphoric type. Most people don't like MDA because it makes them feel weird. I personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, I don't go out of my way to do it. I don't find it super visual. I remember once, though, I did about a gram of it over the span of an evening at a house party, because they just had a big bowl of it and were like, take as much as you want. And I remember I didn't really notice the effects until I laid down, I closed my eyes, and it was like, holy fuck, psychedelic roller coaster, jeepers. But, I mean, the first visual effects I've had from a drug, except for seeing the sound waves of my feet when I first got really high on weed, was seeing these, like, weird patterns in my friend's dark basement when I did some MDA press caps that looked kind of like shifting baby skeleton bones. It was creepy. And a bunch of them kind of lined up. But yeah, like, MDA is something I'll do if it's offered to me, but it's not something I'll go out of my way to buy. I mean, if you enjoy it, I would highly suggest doing it instead of MDA or MDMA, because it's less neurotoxic. I couldn't imagine, though, like, it would be a substitute for a flip, a psychedelic flip, say if you're taking it with LSD or psilocybin or whatever the case may be, 2CB, I could only imagine it being weird. Like, I don't think they complement each other very much, any of them. But maybe 2CB, because, yeah, like I was saying, this night, my friend was giving me all this, and he was giving me a bunch of ketamine and stuff like that. And like, I remember he put out these huge rails of ketamine and MDA that were like that, and got me to do 2 of them. And I was the only person who could still stand after it. And that's not me bragging about my drug tolerance. That's probably not a good thing that I have such a high drug tolerance to ketamine specifically. And this was back when I wasn't doing it very often. Ketamine, if you've done it for long enough, over a short period of time, you'll have a tolerance that'll kind of stick with you for the rest of your life, I find. Yeah, in any case, I remember I took this 100 milligram edible after being dropped off at my house at like 4 in the morning. I was gonna sleep for a couple hours and then party the next night. Well, that didn't happen. I just ended up tripping fucking balls. Like, it brought the MDA back, like hardcore, like super visual, like 3D hexagonal patterns just moving through me, like these honeycomb type patterns, and they were blocky, like 2CB patterns tend to be from my experience. But that was manageable, and kind of like, I was like, this is actually cool. I'm actually glad I'm experiencing this. But that's and I remember once I did a hit of 1P-LSD, and I took 100 milligram edible, and like, I think I wasn't anywhere near as like fucking like primally scared as I was when I did the acid and then the edible, which was weird because I did the 1P-LSD, even though it was about half the dose. It was 100 milligrams. I know that 100 milligrams of 1P-LSD is stronger than 100 milligrams of LSD, but I did 200 milligrams of LSD. And it was definitely a stronger trip. And I took the edible for the 1P-LSD. I took it like a couple hours after the 1P-LSD had kicked in. So like, it would have kicked in as I was trying to go to the peak, but I remember not being that bothered by it. But it may have been because I also took like a Xanax or something. Because this is back when I used to mix benzos with hallucinogens a lot more. I just really want to make the point that cannabis can really intensify hallucinogens. For the most part, I find this a good thing. The only time really it bothers me, aside from making the mistakes like the ones I just mentioned, the one with the MDA, that was kind of a happy error. I didn't get any sleep, but I was still like, this is cool. I'm glad I'm experiencing this. I was only going to get a couple hours of sleep anyway, so probably would have made me feel more tired in the long run. I justified it away pretty quickly just because I found it neat. And I was like, this is what good 2CB must be like. And I did good 2CB not long after, and it was very similar. Because they're both in the phenethylamine class. They're similar in nature. I really enjoy smoking pot on hallucinogens for the most part. Not DMT. I really try to stray from, sometimes with Chongo when I'm aiming to do a sub-breakthrough dose. Not with DMT, man. Like, fucking DMT's intense enough as it is, like, and so I'll wait. I know I have done it while stoned, but it was like the last thing on my mind because there's just already so much crazy shit happening. But I'm sure it undoubtedly intensified it. But since I'm stoned all the time, that means I have to wait about an hour till I'm coming down. Well, I usually come down before that if I'm smoking, which I usually am. I'll give it an hour just to be safe. I'd really advise caution when mixing those two, or especially with 5-MeO. I can't speak for that because I haven't mixed the two. My experiences with 5-MeO are very limited. I've done it about 5 times, maybe 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 7 milligrams, 9 milligrams. And then I threw in a bunch, and I think it was about 15 maybe. And it just was kind of scary. I remember thinking it was cool at first, like, whoa, time's slowing down, like it screeches to a halt pretty much. And since I know you're not knocked out like regular NN, I got up and I looked at myself in the mirror and it was just like a big swirling disco ball consuming me, and I was like, okay, time to lie down. And then boom, just like into the void, and it wasn't a raft of visuals. I could see like what seemed like geometric serpentine reptiles kind of slinking around in the void, but like I was just like too overtaken by the intensity of it, and like, just breathe. It's just trying to be over soon now. Just breathe. mind you, I mean, I've had more intense experiences, oddly enough, but yeah, I just don't really find much value in 5-MeO from what I can tell. I mean, it's weird because lower doses, like 5 milligrams, seem to be visual, but not anywhere near as interesting as like actual just DMT, which I know is not a far cry in terms of chemical structure from 5-methoxyzimethyltryptamine, but I mean, maybe I'll go back one day. I still have a bunch of synthetic 5-MeO, but we'll see. Anyways, that's all for now. Bye.